Space Story, number 1074, 4 minutes 30 seconds, coming in 3, 2, 1.
On the 15th anniversary of Apollo 11, NASA presents The Space Story. May 25th, 1961.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
8 years later, on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 was hurled into space from NASA's Kennedy Space Center, carrying a crew of 3, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. The great voyage to the moon was underway.
Roger, 11, we'll pass that on, and it certainly looks like you're well on your way now.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
On July 20th, people from around the world watched as Apollo 11 Commander Neil Armstrong took that historic first step onto the lunar surface.
One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
Michael Collins was the command module pilot on Apollo 11.
One effect, I think, of the first lunar landing was to bring people of all nations closer together. After the flight of Apollo 11, we 3 crew members took a very quick trip around the world. We visited some 22 countries in slightly over a month's time. And we noticed that everywhere we went, no matter what the country, no matter what its politics, the people there seemed to identify very closely with us and with the Apollo program. They felt part of humankind's first step out onto the surface of another planet. And I think that a flight of Apollo 11 did make the world a little bit smaller and a little bit friendlier and did give it a feeling of unity that had not existed before.
The late Dr. Wernher von Braun, then director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center.
We knew vaguely that it could be done. When you consider that a typical Saturn Apollo flight to the moon includes approximately 6 million parts, each of one must work. And the failure of each of one can cause disaster. And you are working in a new field of technology. Everything is unprecedented. And yet you are working under a limited budget against a hard time schedule.
All is quiet on the moon right now, but the legacy of Apollo is with us forever. Historian Dr. Arthur M. Schlesinger summed it up this way.
If historians 500 years from now looking back remember the 20th century, it will be because the 20th century was where man first began to break his terrestrial bonds and begin the exploration of space. And the generation which is coming of age in the 60s will be the generation which began as the last earthbound generation and saw in their own lifetimes the shift from man as a creature of a single planet to man beginning an exploration of space.
On the 15th anniversary of Apollo 11, NASA has presented The Space Story.
NASA Special Report number 236. 14 minutes 30 seconds coming in 3, 2, 1.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We passed the 6-minute mark in our countdown for Apollo 11. Now 5 minutes, 52 seconds.
The date,
and counting.
July 1969. The scene, NASA's Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It was July 16th. The morning was hot and clear. Poised on the launch pad, 36 stories of rocket and spacecraft, the most powerful machine ever devised by man, about to begin the first leg of a 500,000-mile round trip to the surface of the moon.
Launch Director Rocco Petrone now gives a go for 5 minutes, 20 seconds.
High on top of the Apollo 11 stack, inside the 12 by 12-foot cone-shaped command module, 3 modern-day explorers, Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin, were completing final preparations and checkout for launch. Their mission had evolved from the drawing boards to reality in slightly more than 8 years' time. The assignment was clear: land on the moon and return safely to Earth. NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, presents a special 15th anniversary report. The flights of Apollo 11, Eagle and Columbia revisited.
Begins to build up. We're now hitting the 4-minute mark. 4 minutes and counting. We are go for Apollo 11. We'll go on.
On that significant day in July, as the world watched and waited for the now familiar sights and sounds of ignition and liftoff, it was not difficult to find one's mind wandering back to similar days of major milestones in man's brief space history. Events which charted the course for Apollo 11 and beyond. It was May 5th, 1961, when this country took its first tentative step into space for man. Astronaut Alan Shepard was at the controls.
2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
All right, liftoff, and the clock has started. Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. This is Freedom 7. The fuel is go.
The clock had started for man in space. Later in that same month, May 25th to be exact, a national goal was set forth.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
In succeeding years, this goal was to be reinforced by a second president.
Fourth, we must assure our preeminence in the peaceful exploration of outer space, focusing on an expedition to the moon in this decade.
And broadened by a third.
As we explore the reaches of space, let us go to the new worlds together. Not as new worlds to be conquered, but as a new adventure to be shared.
From this time. All still go at this time. Neil Armstrong reported back when he received the...
In all, a total of 20 manned flights preceded this first moon landing attempt, each adding in a step-by-step manner the knowledge and experience required for actual lunar missions. Pioneering the Mercury era, Gus Grissom followed in astronaut Shepard's suborbital path. Soon would come Earth orbit.
Godspeed, John Glenn.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway. Loud and clear. Roger, we're...
Carpenter, Girard, and Gordon Cooper followed John Glenn into orbit, with Cooper closing out Project Mercury with a new space duration record, 34 hours and 20 minutes inside his Faith 7 capsule. It was now known for a fact that man could indeed survive and operate effectively in the hostile environment of space. Meanwhile, the newest manned flight program was Gemini.
All completed. Roger, all complete. There goes the pitch. All right, Roger, pitch. You're on your way, Molly Brown. Yeah, ma'am.
Gemini was the bridge between Mercury and Apollo. It was in Gemini that man would work in space and maneuver his craft to rendezvous with another.
Gemini 7 and 6, would you continue with the description of your station keeping?
Right now, 6 is
10 feet above and to the left of 7. We're just flying nose to nose, approximately 15 feet apart.
And later, Doc.
Okay, Gemini 8, it looks good here from the ground. We're showing cone rigid. Everything looks good from the docking. Okay, we're going to cycle our stop arm switch now. Roger. Flight, we are docking. And he's really a smoothie. Oh, Roger. Hey, congratulations. This is real good.